kind of always been a true crime person watching trials on the side. And then my church announced that we were partnering with God Behind Bars. So that just perked my interest. And so I applied, went through the background check, took forever. Then COVID hit. So it was like a 2-year process to get me in. But basically we get there Thursdays and to the women's max security and do a church service. And then I also mentor.
So you're going into the women's prison. And what prison is that?
It's DJRC, so Deborah Johnson Rehabilitation Center.
Okay, and is that here in Nashville?
It is.
Okay, and so how long have you been going in there?
About 2 years.
And so when you first started going in there, you were just taking in church services?
Yes.
Okay, and so what was that like for you? And, was that a population that you were familiar with at all? And was it intimidating for you? Just tell me a little bit about that.
So it was definitely not a population I'm used to. It was not intimidating. I do watch crime, so there's some women in there that I've seen their trials. But I walk in and I got chills like the second I walked in, because I am a very empathetic person, and I just see people as they are. I mean, I walked in there with no judgment. And to be honest, it's changed who I am. I'm much less judgmental. I'm much less, I just don't look at people based off of their offenses, but it's more about helping them feel loved because there's so much brokenness. So it's a very heavy, I'll say that, when we go in there. Lots of women, charges all over the place, but as people know, I mean, drugs are the core to a lot of crimes, right? Like, so it's not just the dealers, it's the aggravated assaults, it's the robberies, I mean, everything like that. So it's bad. I mean, it's hard on them.
And so are you the person that manages? So do they give you prayer cards every time they come into the service? And you're the one that manages all those cards?
I do.
And you read every one of those cards?
Every one of them.
And you spend time praying for each one of those women?
Every one of them. And I save them all like in a box. So.
And so when you read those prayers, and not to ask you to identify any person in particular, but what kind of things are these women asking for?
The main things I see are, the cool thing is a lot of them pray for each other, for the women in the compound. So for peace, for grace, and then, to bring them closer to God. A lot of them say they want forgiveness. The hardest is, I want to be in contact with my family, and I haven't heard from them in weeks or months. So a lot of family stuff, praying for family, praying for addiction. 9 out of 10 are saying, help me with my addiction. And then just strengthen them and help them hold on to hope.
So 9 out of 10 are addicts?
Absolutely.
And what about moms? How many do you suspect are parents?
That's another thing, is the postpartum depression. They'll have babies and have to give them up right away.
While they're in prison.
Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of moms. We did a Christmas event this year where we let the kids come in and see their moms, and it was just amazing experience. But for the moms who can't get in touch with their kids, or they've done something and they won't forget them, it's hard being a parent.
So if you had to guess on a percentage of the women that you are serving, or at least engaging with during your services, how many of those are parents, do you think, and on a percentage scale?
If I'm guessing, I'd say 75%.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot. And do you know what the overall population is in the maximum security unit of this prison?
Like how many?
Yeah. How many does it hold? Or even the entire prison, if you have an idea.
I might totally botch this. I think 500 or so.
Okay.
It's really the place where it is a max security place, but everyone that comes in goes there to get classified, and then they're
Okay.
sent off. So
Oh, so is it
sometimes
kind of a receiving unit when they first come into the prison system?
it is.
Okay. All right.
But-
Yeah, those are typically max because they're unclassified.
Yes.
So, okay, that makes sense. So you actually get the opportunity to be with these women when they're first starting their prison time.
Yeah.
So, and do you know what the range of time they typically will spend in that area, in that unit?
Like at the prison?
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
receiving unit.
Okay, yeah, before they're classified.
Yeah.
I believe it's 30 days.
30 days. So you're only getting action on connecting and trying to make a difference with these women for about a month.
Well, no, I mean, if they, a lot of them do end up staying there just because it's, for whatever reason, but there's a lot of life prisoners there.
Okay. And so those women get the opportunity to come in as well. So I'm guessing it's sort of a mixed classification prison.
Yep. There's different units. So there's 1, 2, and 3. 1 is for the most well-behaved. 2 is for the, I say, troublemakers, and then 3 is solitary confinement.
Okay, and that's outside of the reception area.
Right.
Okay, and so, and do you get the opportunity to have contact with each separate unit?
I have gone into unit 3 where they're in solitary confinement, and just gone door to door and prayed with them.
Yeah.
But not in unit 2 one time, but not unit 1. So they don't typically have us go in those buildings, but we do our service in the gym. I do my one-on-ones in the chapels.
Okay, and so when you bring a service in, is it just a regular worship service where you're coming in, you're praying to open, you guys sing some hymns, you preach some of the word and maybe share some, testimonies, and then...
Yeah, so basically our head pastor, preaches on Sundays, and then they record it, and so we bring it in, and then we show it to them. So it's not live, but
Okay.
it is. So yeah, it's singing, it's service, and then prayers.
And do you find that a pretty large portion of the population in the different units actually engage with your service?
So yes, I will say we've watched over time. It used to be that the back row, it was really just kind of there to get out of their units, but over the past 6-8 months, it's silent, it's focused. They're praying, they're holding hands, praying for each other. It's just beautiful.
And so do you have any idea where that shift sort of happened and what contributed to that?
I think it is, I think the messages are really, they resonate with them, but I think it's really like times are so evil right now, and people are desperate for hope, for someone to just be there for them and comfort them.
And so when you say times are desperate, I think that we recognize that in our regular society, right, in our communities. And so has there been a shift inside of the prisons here in Tennessee as well?
I feel so. Yes.
And so what do you, because I know that you and I have talked quite a bit over the last couple of years, and so I'm just wondering if you can sort of identify what you have seen since you've been taking services, and then of course mentoring, and we'll talk about your mentoring here in a minute, but I'm just wondering if you could talk about what you've seen as a transition with the environment and what's changed in there.
And I do think that they're trying to do a lot to change things. The biggest shock to me, just being transparent, is the drugs inside of the prison.
And so there are a lot of drugs in the
A lot of drugs.
What kind of drugs do you know?
I have heard, I don't know. I know Suboxone is big, and meth.
Now, is the Suboxone supplied by the prison? Oh, okay. So people are actually sneaking that in. And are you familiar with Suboxone? Are you aware that is a medical assisted treatment, regularly used drug?
Yes, I did not know, but now I do. I've learned a lot.
So our systems use those as a solution to the drug problem. And so you're having a different experience based on what you're seeing inside of there. So can you talk a little bit about that, what you know?
Yeah, it's hard. It's surprising. I don't want to be critical because I know it's probably very hard for them to catch everything. But it would shock you to know how many women write on their prayer cards or come up personally and have us pray for them because they are relapsing, or like they've gone 100 days without it, or they're wanting to get
And you're talking about the Suboxone specifically.
Suboxone or any other drug that they do.
Okay.
I don't know, but that they want to get sober if they can't because it's right in front of them. Some people never had done drugs and they start in there.